Hi, my name is Dan, and my wife's not here right now because she doesn't like to be on camera too much, but her name is Joyce, and that was a quick setup of the camper. There were a few more things that we would do. We'd have a table here with a cook stove on it and so forth, but this is just in the driveway getting ready to go for the season out at spring. It's the first really nice day that we've had here in southern Maine. As you can see, the setup of the camper is fairly straightforward. The type of campers we are traveling campers. We do like to occasionally stop at a music festival like the Bluegrass Festival at Thomas Point Beach we have in Brunswick, Maine. Spent up to 6 days there, so we park and we set up. But we need something that's easy to put back together, close the doors, and get on the road, because we like to stop at a place and either move on to another place because we're on our way to it, or once we get there, spend a day or two seeing what we want to see and then move on. We've put tens of thousands of miles on the road in the last several years doing that. We started out with tenting way back. In fact, it was our honeymoon with some new equipment that we had bought. And in 2009, I purchased a used little guy trailer, very low. I mean, there's a bed in it, kitchen in the back. You can sit up in it. Fairly light, very easy to tow, low profile, so there's no wind resistance, so you hardly knew the gas mileage was a problem. And we did about, probably 30,000 miles over 10 years in that little camper, and it was great. But as we got older, we kind of wanted to be able to stand up to put our pants on. So I started looking online and saw the various forums and sites for cargo conversions, and I could buy a trailer, I could buy a camper, heck, I could buy an Airstream if I wanted to, but I wanted something small, and I really enjoy the process of making it myself and having something I can keep modifying and working on, because I wouldn't be destroying something I just purchased new that's all done, and you get to make it the way you want. Our philosophy of camping is sort of like minimalist elegance, which sounds kind of like an oxymoron. But as you'll see when I do the tour inside, because we have made some modifications over the last couple of years since you know, we had this camper in, I think it was 2017, first got it. Anyway, the philosophy has to do with just having what you need without making it complicated. So wherever we go in campgrounds, we almost stay in either municipal or state parks, national parks sometimes, almost never a private campground. What we find is that the bathrooms are either good to excellent, and we almost always have electricity, at least 110. So we don't need to accommodate for all of that. So that eliminates putting a bathroom in here. In fact, it eliminates putting water in here, actually. So what we really wanted to do initially when we had a tent was to, one, get off the ground into a bed, and two, get out of the rain. If you can do that and then keep all of the other stuff camping, then you're camping. You're not living out of a home that you move from your home. So as you'll see later in here, we have a bed, a nice one, and we're out of the rain, out of the weather. And probably another thing too is being able to stay warm, but we don't do a whole lot of cold weather camping anyway. As far as the other stuff, the bathrooms, the water, the cooking, so forth, we do just as we did as when we had a tent, or the small teardrop camper that we had, the little guy. As far as cooking and so forth, we don't have a kitchen either. You know, we put a table out here with our small barbecue grill, our portable one, and our cook stove, and that's how we do most of our cooking that way. We also have a microwave in there when we're plugged in. And wherever we go, we always manage to find at least 110 in electricity. So, on that note, let's take a look at the camper. First at the outside, then we'll go from there. As you saw during the setup, we have the cargo doors, not the ramp. We had a choice when we ordered this trailer, because it's a company, Proline in Milton, New Hampshire, that makes them for you. I mean, you order one, 2 weeks later you go pick it up. The camper is 100% aluminum, except for the axle, of course. And the roof is also a one-piece aluminum sheet, and it's got a metal edge over it. You don't see any of the glue and the putty all over the place, and it doesn't leak. It's been several years now, and it doesn't leak. It's been great. The reason we opted for the cargo doors like this was that I knew we wouldn't be driving any little motorcycles or carts in here. So by opening the doors and putting the screen, we were able to have a large window in the camper without having to put too many small windows on the sides. Inside, as you'll see later, there's a roll-down curtain that goes up and down with a crank. So we do have privacy, yet still ventilation, if we you know, should want to do that. When you close the doors about halfway, it also lets you have some privacy from that way, because it blocks the view from the sides. This was fairly easy to build. They sell this plastic type of device at the big box stores, and have some screen on a roll, and there's a metal track that you we put the screen in after you cut it, and then this plastic just snaps over it, and that gives a nice clean look. Of course, the aluminum has made some oxide here on it as the doors close, but you know, this camper's been around. This camper, I think we've probably done about 20,000 miles on it in the last 4 or 5 years. So underneath, I have this piece of heavy vinyl, and there's Velcro on here, and also a tab here and one up here. So it lifts up and sticks, and under here we keep the carpet that you see, 2 lawn chairs. I can put a small foldable table on top of that, and then the various wheel chocks and tire irons and jacks and so forth over on the side. It's a general storage area. It goes back about 4 feet. It's under the bed, and there are drawers on the other side of the bed that open up. So half is drawers and half is a storage area. This awning, made graciously by my sister, who sews pretty good, is really just a couple of aluminum rods and aluminum squares here. And you saw me slip it in just through some little brackets on the top and then hook it up. And the reason we don't use this all the time, the only time we would use it is if we want to leave the doors open and there's some strong sun and it's hot, or if you want to leave this open at night and you put this over here and it rains, unless it's blowing in this direction really hard, you don't get the bed wet. And if it should be blowing a little bit hard, I can take it off this and it'll hang down about this far and just cover the screen. You can also close the doors too if we had to, but this allows for a little ventilation without getting wet. This is the name of the camper, Proline, and they're registered with New Hampshire Trailers. On the outside, there were just a few things that I had ordered with this trailer. One was this very, very good awning. You saw me put it up. It goes up with 2 people. It'll go up in 3 or 4 minutes, 2 or 3 minutes. It's quite good. And when you want to retract it, it retracts like a screen. You just pull this and it zips back. You know, a lot of people have these, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's lasted quite good. It gets a little dirty. I have to pressure wash it once in a while, but it's been a very good unit for us. And as you can see, it's wider than the camper is, so it provides us a lot of outdoor space and protection from the weather. One of the other things that I ordered was I opted for the custom wheels instead of the regular galvanized ones. The aluminum, and just makes it look a little good, and also the permanent aluminum step on here to be able to assist getting up. We also ordered the camper door as opposed to the cargo door, and it has a great handle. It's got a lock. It's got a deadbolt lock also, and it has a screen door inside, which makes it a lot easier to get a little ventilation in here and a little more light. And the screen door snaps onto here like this. Another nice thing that you get when you're not in a tent is that some entertainment, and we do have a 12-volt television on the inside, which you'll see later. But as far as an antenna for it, there's all kinds of RV antennas I could have cut into my roof and mounted on the side and so forth. But I thought, heck, why not get a good antenna and not have to do all of that? So what I've done is I bought a 16-foot retractable pole that's used for cleaning windows, and on top of it mounted a standard home outdoor antenna. It's not a big one, but it does a good job. And as you saw, it plugs into the side of the trailer with a connector that you don't have to screw in, and you can turn it to the right direction, and you search for channels, and most places we've been, we've gotten some good reception, you know, where they have it. It works quite good. The mounting for the antenna is a combination of building something to put this spare tire on and hook the antenna. I didn't want to put the spare tire into the trailer because the trailer is not that high. I thought it hit bottom. And I didn't want to mount it on the side with some bracket. So what I did is I bought this tire mount, and then I welded a longer pipe on it with a bracket, and I mounted it on the front. And the antenna is mounted to a pipe, which is part that I added as part of the mount, and the handle just slips in there. And it rotates with some effort. You can rotate the antenna. The only thing I don't care too much about with this trailer is the hitch. Well, the hitch is fine, but the length of it. And I don't know if you could make it any longer, but I find that my truck bumper is quite wide, so that if you turn a little bit too much, you end up hitting the V of this. In my opinion, any tongue should be out here, so that if you turn the truck, it should come to this point, not hit the side of the trailer. I have a dent on each side as a result of that, because sometimes you just have to turn sharp. You're just in a position where you have to. Once I went under a bridge. It was just a one-way road, and I couldn't get the top of the trail, you know, the cover that holds the fan on the top that covers the fan. I wouldn't have cleared it. I would have ripped it off. So I had to back up and turn around in a road that was about as wide as the vehicle. And I just had to turn sharp and push the trailer over. I had no choice. So that's one thing I would change if I could. In the next video, we'll go inside, and we'll show you everything that's in there that make it comfortable for us to travel all over the country.